What's going on, folks? This your friendly neighborhood rusty, broken down, beat up old soldier coming at you today from Austin County, North Carolina, where the temperatures are cooler. The days are shorter and the nights are longer. If you didn't know already. Anyway, this is for you, Brother Kyle. And we're moving right along. Headed to work, going to impart some knowledge to some young people. Hope that it'll stick, and they'll learn, they'll grow, and they'll go on to do bigger and better things in this world. Anyway, had a business meeting yesterday. With an account executive for the United States Concealed Carry Association to discuss what they could do for my business, J&L Shooting Academy, which I'm already an official partner, but it's kind of like really haven't got much out of them as far as lead generation and prospect generation. For those of you who are familiar with sales, lead and prospect generation is a key important thing in growing a business, finding customers to come to your business to utilize your services or purchase your goods, whatever they may be. In my case, it's firearms safety instruction and or range use. So me and my partner, we had a nice long discussion with this young man, polite young man. I doubt he'll ever see this video. If he does, he does. What I found odd was, as an account executive for the United States Concealed Carry Association, young man had no knowledge of handguns. None. Well, I say none. Very limited knowledge of handguns. Okay. And maybe that's not so much important in lead generation. I get. I think he said he's been with the company for about 3 months now. So that's got a lot to do with it too, I'm sure. Well, I thought to myself, if I'm going to work for a company like this, I probably need to seek some knowledge of handguns, because the majority of the people I'm going to be talking to in the line of this business will either own or be getting ready to purchase handguns. And what I'm trying to get people to buy into is more training and personal protection while you carry a handgun. Might want to be able to talk knowledgeably about it. And I'm not saying the young man was unintelligent, very intelligent young man, but just curious to see how it's going to work out. Of course, a lot of big firms hire people that have no clue as to what their company's end product or service actually is at the end of the day. If you don't believe me, go to a car lot on any given day, especially a used car lot. A lot of the young kids today don't know the difference between a Chevy and a Dodge half the time. I gotta go pull a spec sheet on that car for you, sir. Now, I'm no car guru, but I do know that there's a difference between Chevy and Dodge and Ford. And I know those big companies all have subsidiary or sister companies, that however you want to term it. Because Ford, it was always Ford Lincoln Mercury. Chrysler Dodge. Used to be Chrysler Dodge Pontiac. No, Pontiac? Now see, I do get confused there. I always thought Pontiac was a Chrysler product, but no, I think Pontiac's were Chevy. Someone correct me down in the comments below. been so long since I heard the name Pontiac, I can't remember. But then you had Chevy, GMC, Cadillac. They're all GM products. Technically, Saturn was a GM subsidiary. And then, GM crapped all over them in the big auto industry failure of the mid-2000s. Yeah, go back and study, folks. One of the best things that ever happened to that part of Tennessee, that Saturn plant. The employees tried to buy it from GM, from what I understand, and GM just said, nope, we're closing it. Which I thought was a crap move. All because of the UAW. Yeah, if you haven't gathered, folks, I don't give a rat's rear end about the UAW or really unions in general. There are those of you who watch this channel might very well be members of union. Don't take my opinion as that I dislike you. I dislike unions. Okay? There you have it. Anyway, back to what we were talking about originally. Like I said, this young man, no real knowledge of handguns. So, be interested to see what he can do for me and my business partner, generating leads for our respective companies. And helping us to grow our clientele base, get recurrent and regenerative income, if you will, from said mentioned clients. And again, I get it. USCCA offers a product. The only way they can stay in business is to sell a product like anybody else. Okay? I know the NRA does the same thing. They sell memberships, they sell training. All of them, well, I don't know about the NRA, but I think they do. But USCCA also sells a personal protection plan. All right? I tell every one of my clients to take my class. If you are going to carry a handgun on your person for personal defense in a concealed or even in an open manner, when you leave your humble abode to go into the world, as much as I hate the term, and I'll use that term loosely, because I am not a licensed insurance agent, but some type of insurance plan, if you will. And I use that term in the sense of you need to have something that's going to protect you. God forbid you find yourself in an incident and you need a lawyer, you need bail, okay? You need expert witness testimony. And I'm not selling anything for anybody. You got to go do your own homework, your own research, and look it up for yourself and see what fits you and your budget accordingly. And do your pros and cons search. I'm at the point now, I'm not going to sit here and push one over the other. All I'm going to tell you is this: in the event you find yourself in a situation and you don't have nothing to fall back on except maybe you own a home or you've got a bit of savings put away, you're about to lose all of that. What do you mean, old soldier? You ain't even said I've been convicted, guilty in a court of law. My point, what I'm getting at is, it costs money to get a lawyer. And a good defense attorney, at least where I'm at, is going to run a minimum of $5,000 or more just to retain them, to put them on retainer. That's not counting their hourly rate for every time they meet with you to discuss your case. That's not counting the expert witness fees that they're going to go out and get to testify on your behalf. Okay? Or any investigative work that they might have a private investigator do on your part to solicit more evidence on your behalf to prove your innocence. Now, if you own your own home, yes, you can take a second mortgage out to pay for all this. But guess what? Those mortgage loans don't close in 5 or 10 days. I've never heard of a secondary mortgage loan closing that quick. If anybody knows of a loan company that does that, let me know, please. I would really like to know. There's a whole litany of process that's got to go through. And if you're the one that's locked up in jail, you're dependent on somebody else to be doing all this for you. i.e. your spouse or significant other, 9 out of 10 times. And I love my wife dearly, Mrs. Old Soldier is, but in a situation like that would overwhelm her. She wouldn't know where to begin or where to start or who to talk to. It would push her to the brink of probably losing her mind. Okay? But my point being, it's going to take time that you don't necessarily have. Oh, by the way, this whole time, you're still sitting in jail because, let's say you don't have the money for the bail that some libtard judge has slapped on you, depending on where you live. Like the one down here in Robeson County that let a criminal out on the street that shot up 2 deputies. And he was out on bond and bail for 2 different charges. One of the charges was murder to begin with. But for somebody who owns a gun, this is the type of judge who turn around and hit you the highest amount of bail that, you know, the county's probably ever seen. The point I'm getting at is, now that's another resource of money that you've got to go find just to get yourself out so you can personally meet with that lawyer at any given time. Not a lawyer having to come during visitation hour at the jail to sit and talk your case over before it even goes before a judge. Then to top it all off, let's say the police or sheriff's department confiscates your firearm. Let's say it's the only firearm you've got for personal defense. Let's say you get out on bail. Do you have the money to go purchase another firearm so you can continue to protect yourself? And I'm not telling you folks to go buy any one product over another, but do your research. Find something that's going to provide you some measure of protection. There's several companies out there that give you funds for a lawyer, for bail, that protect you both criminally and civilly. That's the other thing. Let's say you go to a criminal court and you are acquitted, or your charges are dropped, or you're found outright not guilty. Great. But now that family, the person that you have sent to meet their maker, or you have done whatever to, that they're not the same person as before, their family's upset with you because, you know, little shitbag, pardon my French, was breaking into your house to steal so he or she could go get some school clothes or their stuff or whatever the case may be, because, you know, they thought stealing from you was the right thing to do. And, you know, it's 2 o'clock in the morning as they're coming through your bedroom window and you shot them straight square in the chest. And now the doctors had to go remove a lung and they're going to be a quadriplegic for the rest of their life. Well, now the family's pissed off at you because you're not the police. You shouldn't have had a gun in your home. This, that, the other. Now they're saying you used excessive force because instead of shooting them with a .380, you shot them with a 10 millimeter that blew half their backside out. Whatever the case may be, or you shot them with a friggin' 12 gauge shotgun slug. Whatever the case may be. But now the family's suing you. Okay? They think that you've got all this money in the world. So now they're suing you so they can get everything that you got. And let's say it goes before another libtard freaking judge. And maybe the attorney in this case gets a jury that's more inclined to be bleeding heart liberals than, you know, God-fearing Christian conservatives, if you will. Or just conservatives in general. Or somebody at least believes in the darn Constitution. And all of a sudden they decide, yep, we're going to award, we're you know, whatever the case may be. Because you didn't have the money to hire, there's the word I'm looking for, I'm tongue-tied today, hire a criminal defense attorney that can represent you both in a criminal court and a civil court. That can bring in those same witnesses again and argue your case for you before a court of law. So, there you have it. That's what I recommend to every one of my clients when they take my classes. They need to look at some type of organization that provides some type of service like that. And I got a caveat that I'm not an insurance salesman and I'm not a lawyer. Do your homework, do your research, call these people, get quotes, get information, source it from however. At the end of the day, I also let them know certain organizations that come and that you go to, if you give them my information, yes, I do get paid for referrals. But at the end of the day, you have to make the ultimate decision on if you want to or not. But to me, it's almost irresponsible not to have something that would protect you in the event that you find yourself in that. Now, I guarantee you, I'm probably going to get some feedback on this that's not so good. Really don't care. You know, again, it boils down to some people think, well, why do I need all this when the judicial system set up this, that, and the other? Yeah, our judicial system set up a certain way, but let's face it, it don't always operate that way. And depending on where you live, the cards can be stacked against you from the day you pull your gun out the holster and send an intruder or a threat to meet their maker. Okay? Now, if you want to ride that on the fact that you've got a house that's paid off and you think you're going to get what it's worth in a second mortgage in order to get the necessary funds to hire a lawyer, expert witness, bail, firearm recuperation, recoupment, go right ahead. I don't have it that way. So, again, I'm not telling you this is something you need to go do or have to go do. I'm strongly encouraging you to look into it if you have not already done so. Now, you can put down in the comments what organization you're a part of if you want. I really don't, if that's what you want to do. Again, I'm not going to tout one over the other right now. Really ain't. There's a few out there. There's quite a few that I know for a fact I would never join. Never pay for their services because I've done the comparison. But you got to do your own. I'm not going to sit here and tell you one way or the other. And, I'm not going to describe what this, that, or the other does. You've got to go do your homework, your research, and look those things up. You've got to figure this out for yourself. But again, for some peace of mind, you need to look into some kind of protection. I mean, if you think about it, you get in an automobile. Now, they've mandated that in law that if you have a car, you have to have automobile insurance if you're going to put it on the road. And every state's different on how they mandate what you have to have in way of coverage. Same thing, if you're paying a mortgage on a home, you have to have homeowner's insurance. Now, after your home paid off and you want to drop it, go right ahead. That'd be about the stupidest thing under the sun if you did. Trust me, I know. Because when my house got hit by lightning, thank God I had dadgum good homeowner's insurance. Right? So why wouldn't you have something in the form of some type of protection in the event you find yourself in a situation where you've had to defend yourself? And now your actions are called into judgment, called into question, right? You don't need your family worrying about where the next meal is going to come from, how the light bill is going to get paid, how all your utilities are going to get paid, things of that nature, paying those bills, the whole 9 yards. You don't need to worry about that. And again, if you got that kind of money in the bank, hey, more power to you. More power to you. I don't take anything away from anybody that's got it that way. Okay? But at the end of the day, you need to look at it. Because like I said, if you're gonna go out your door and you're gonna put a firearm on your hip, and it doesn't have to be a firearm. There's several organizations out there that will represent you, whether you used a gun, a knife, a bat, a phone book, a baseball, whatever the case may be, so long as you are not the instigator or aggressor. That's the other thing. Make sure that in no shape, form, or fashion can it be said that you brought this on yourself, that you started it. That comes with wise temperament and patience. Let me say it again. That comes with wise temperament and patience. Sometimes people say things to us that causes our blood to boil. We want to curse them out. We want to call them everything under the sun. We get aggressive in our tone of voice. In some states, that can be considered a threat. Anyway, keep that all in the back of your mind, folks. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Do you agree or you disagree? I don't care. I got thick skin, you know. Just let me know. Until then, it's from the Neighborhood Old Soldier, out.